17 dragons, 1 civil war, 2 years of absolute carnage. The Dance of the Dragons didn't just kill Targaryens, it killed the dragons themselves, the creatures that conquered Westeros, that burned Harrenhal to ash, that made House Targaryen unstoppable, died screaming. Some fell in legendary duels above storm-dark lakes. Some were ripped apart by mobs armed with nothing but axes and rage. Some drowned, tangled in ship rigging. One, and this still haunts me, dragged itself out of a lake with its guts trailing behind it, just to die on the shore. Today, we're going dragon by dragon, death by death, in chronological order. No theories, no speculation, just the brutal, documented facts of how the greatest dragons in Westeros tore each other apart. By the end, you'll understand why they call it the dying of the dragons. Let's count the dead. Arax, Shipbreaker Bay. The dance opens with a storm and a murder. Prince Lucerys Velaryon, 14 years old, is flying his young dragon Arax back from Storm's End when Prince Aemond Targaryen intercepts him on Vhagar, the largest living dragon in the world. The fight doesn't last long. It can't. Arax is barely a decade old. Vhagar is nearly 200, a veteran of Aegon's conquest itself, with jaws that could swallow a horse whole. They clash above Shipbreaker Bay in storm conditions, wind, rain, lightning splitting the sky. Arax tries to flee. Vhagar is faster despite her size. The accounts say Vhagar's jaws close around Arax mid-flight. The young dragon falls broken into the sea below. 3 days later, Arax's head and neck wash ashore beneath Storm's End. Just his head. The rest of him gone. First blood, first dragon. The war has begun. Meleys, Rook's Rest. Princess Rhaenys, the queen who never was, rides Meleys the Red Queen into what becomes the first true dragon battle of the war. At Rook's Rest, she faces 2 dragons, King Aegon II on Sunfire the Golden and Prince Aemond on Vhagar. Here's what makes this death brutal. Meleys is winning at first. She clamps her jaws around Sunfire's neck, going for the kill. Sunfire is screaming, bleeding, dying in her grip, and then Vhagar drops onto them from above like a falling mountain. All 3 dragons crash together. The impact alone is catastrophic. When the dust clears, Meleys doesn't get back up. The reports say she was ripped to pieces on impact with the ground. Her head is severed and dragged to King's Landing, displayed to the small folk as proof that the blacks can bleed. Rhaenys dies with her dragon. Sunfire survives, barely, but we'll come back to him later because his story gets worse. The Gullet Massacre in the year 130 AC. The Battle of the Gullet is a naval slaughter, and 2 dragons die in the chaos. Vermax, drowned in rigging. Prince Jacaerys Velaryon leads the aerial assault on the Triarchy fleet. His dragon Vermax swoops low, burning ships, trying to break the enemy formation. Too low. A crossbow bolt, possibly to the eye, or a grapnel chain catches him. Vermax crashes into the sea, tangled in the rigging of a burning galley. Survivors report watching him struggle in the ropes and canvas, thrashing, trying to break free as the ship sinks beneath him. He drowns, tangled in the wreckage, and Jace dies with him. Stormcloud. Death by 1,000 cuts. Young Prince Aegon the Younger escapes the Gullet on his dragon Stormcloud, but escape is a generous word. Stormcloud is hit by countless arrows and scorpion bolts during the retreat. Sailors are just firing everything they have at the sky. By the time he reaches Dragonstone, he's got arrows in his belly and a scorpion bolt clean through his neck. He lands, he collapses, he dies within the hour. Aegon survives, his dragon doesn't. And that trauma, watching your dragon die slowly from wounds, meant for you, scars him for life. The God's Eye. In the year 130 AC, the most legendary dragon duel in history, the 22nd day of the 5th moon, 130 AC, above the lake called the God's Eye, near the cursed ruin of Harrenhal. Prince Daemon Targaryen on Caraxes the Bloodworm, Prince Aemond Targaryen on Vhagar. 2 dragons, 2 riders, only the lake survives. Vhagar, throat torn out. They meet in the air. Caraxes, smaller, faster, serpentine, locks onto Vhagar's neck as they grapple. They're falling, both of them, plummeting toward the lake in a tangle of wings and claws and fire. And as they fall, Caraxes rips Vhagar's throat out. The largest dragon in the world, the conqueror of the conquest, dies with her throat torn open, crashing into the god's eye. She doesn't survive the impact. The lake becomes her grave. Caraxes, the crawl. But Caraxes doesn't win. Not really. In the fall, Vhagar rips him apart. His belly is opened. One of his wings is ripped off. He's dying even as he kills her. Here's the image that legends are made of. Caraxes drags himself out of the lake. Drags himself. With his guts spilling out onto the shore, using his one remaining wing and his claws, he crawls in front of Harrenhal's walls. And then he dies. The singers call it the greatest duel ever fought. I call it mutual annihilation. Dragonstone's fall. In the year 130 AC. 3 more dragons die at Dragonstone in quick succession, and the killer is always the same. Sunfire the Golden, King Aegon's crippled, half-dead dragon. Grey Ghost, devoured. Grey Ghost, the wild dragon of Dragonstone, is seen fighting another dragon in the sky above the Dragonmont. He loses. Sunfire, wounded, limping, barely able to fly, kills and partially devours Grey Ghost. It's not even close. Sunfire is larger, meaner, and hungrier. Moondancer, blinded and crushed. Baela Targaryen, brave and desperate, rides her young dragon Moondancer against Sunfire during the assault on Dragonstone. Moondancer has speed. She wounds Sunfire, dancing around him, striking and retreating. But Sunfire breathes fire directly into her eyes. She's blinded. Both dragons crash. On the ground, Size wins. Sunfire kills and devours Moondancer, while Baela barely escapes with her life. Sunfire, rotting from within. And then, finally, Sunfire himself dies. Not in battle, not in a duel. He dies on the 9th day of the 12th moon, 130 AC, from accumulated wounds that have been festering since Rook's rest. The accounts say his wounds stink. He refuses food. He weakens. And then he just stops breathing. The golden dragon dies alone, rotting from the inside out. Tumbleton's chaos in the year 130 AC. 3 dragons die in the second battle of Tumbleton, and it's pure chaos. Seasmoke, killed by Vermithor. Adam Velaryon rides Seasmoke into battle, first dueling Targaryen in the air, then turning to face the rampaging, riderless Vermithor. Bad decision. Vermithor, older, larger, more experienced, kills Seasmoke in the melee. Vermithor, the Bronze Fury's last stand. But Vermithor doesn't walk away. After a 3-dragon brawl involving Seasmoke, Targaryen and himself, the Bronze Fury collapses and dies shortly after. Even legends fall eventually. Targaryen, Mercy killed. Targaryen the Blue Queen survives the initial fighting, but she's badly hurt. She tries to take flight 3 times. She fails every time. Billy Burley is ordered to mercy kill her. And he does. The Blue Queen dies on the ground, unable to fly. The Dragon Pit Horror. In the year 130 AC, the storming of the Dragon Pit is a nightmare. A mob of 20,000 small folk, whipped into frenzy by the shepherd's preaching, storms the great dome where the royal dragons are chained. 5 dragons die. None of them deserve what happens. Shrykos, 7 axe blows to the skull. A man named Hob the Hewer leaps onto Shrykos' neck and axes her skull, 7 blows. He keeps hacking until she stops moving. Morgul, stabbed through the eye. The Burning Knight, on fire, half dead from dragon flame, rushes Morgul and stabs him repeatedly in the eye with a spear until both dragon and man collapse together. Tyraxes, strangled by his own chains. Tyraxes burns so many attackers that corpses block his lair entrance. The mob breaks in another way. He gets tangled in his own chains trying to fight. They kill him like a trapped animal. Later, they cut up his wing membranes for dragon skin cloaks. Dreamfire, crushed by the dome. Dreamfire breaks free. She's killing hundreds. Then a crossbow bolt nicks her eye. Half-blind, maddened by pain, she slams into the great dome above. The roof cracks. The dome collapses. Dreamfire and countless dragon slayers are crushed under falling stone. Syrax died fighting the mob. After the dome falls, Syrax descends into the chaos. Prince Joffrey tried to ride her earlier and fell to his death. Now she's alone, fighting rioters on the ground. Multiple accounts conflict on exactly how she dies. Axe, spear, crossbow, the shepherd himself. But the result is the same. Syrax dies fighting a mob. The Queen's dragon, dead in the streets. 17 dragons, 2 years. The Dance of the Dragons didn't just kill a dynasty, it killed the weapon that made the dynasty possible. After this, only a handful of dragons remain, and most of those die young or refuse to breed. By 153 AC, the last dragon is dead. The Targaryens keep the throne, they keep the crown, they keep the name, but they lost their teeth. If you want to see how the survivors fared after the dance, or which Targaryen actually won this war, drop a comment and smash that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into the brutal history of Westeros, because the books are always darker than the show. The dragons are dead. Long live the dragons.